Imagine waking up tomorrow and not feeling the urge to overeat. No more guilt, no more frustration, just a sense of control and ease around food. Sounds too good to be true? Well, it's not. There's a simple 3-step process that can make this a reality. And the best part, it doesn't involve strict diets or hours at the gym. Let's talk about overeating. It's not just about physical health. It affects our mental well-being and overall quality of life. You know that feeling after overeating? The guilt, the discomfort, the negative self-talk? It turns out that these emotions can create a vicious cycle, leading to more overeating. But here's the thing, there's a simple solution. It's based on neuroscience and psychology, and it's something anyone can do. No extreme measures required. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share a 3-step process that can transform your relationship with food. It's easy, it's effective, and it starts with a simple 5-second rule. Ready to take control of your eating habits? Let's dive in. Here's how it works. When you eat something tasty, your brain releases dopamine, a feel-good chemical. This creates a powerful association between that food and pleasure. Over time, just seeing or smelling that food can trigger a dopamine release, making you crave it even if you're not hungry. It's a bit like your brain saying, hey, remember how good that felt last time? Let's do it again. But here's where it gets interesting. We can actually use this knowledge to our advantage. Enter the 5-second rule. No, not the one about dropping food on the floor. This is a simple but powerful technique that can help rewire your brain's response to food cues. Here's how it works. Whenever you're about to eat something, especially if it's a food you tend to overeat, pause for just 5 seconds. During this brief moment, take a deep breath and ask yourself, am I really hungry or am I eating for another reason? This small delay creates a crucial gap between impulse and action, giving you a chance to make a conscious decision rather than acting on autopilot. Now you might be thinking, 5 seconds? That's nothing. But it turns out that this tiny pause can have a big impact. It's like hitting the pause button on your brain's reward system, giving you a moment to check in with your body and make a more mindful choice. Let's look at how to implement this in real life. At home, try keeping a small timer or using your phone's stopwatch feature. When you're reaching for that late night snack, start the timer and use those 5 seconds to really tune into your body's signals. At work, you could use a sticky note on your desk as a visual reminder to pause before diving into that box of donuts in the break room. But the 5-second rule is just the beginning. It's a powerful first step, but it becomes even more effective when combined with our next technique. We're going to build on this pause and take it to the next level, exploring a practice that can fundamentally change your relationship with food. Now that we've explored the power of the 5-second rule, let's take it a step further with mindful eating. This practice isn't about strict diets or complicated rules. It's simply about paying attention to your food and eating experience. Mindful eating means being fully present during meals. It's about noticing the colors, smells, textures, and flavors of your food. When you eat mindfully, you're more aware of your body's hunger and fullness signals. This awareness can naturally lead to eating less without feeling deprived. Let's try a quick mindful eating exercise right now. Grab a small piece of food, maybe a grape or a nut. Before you eat it, take a moment to really look at it. Notice its color, shape, and texture. Now, bring it to your nose and inhale deeply. What do you smell? Finally, place it in your mouth, but don't chew yet. Notice how it feels on your tongue. Now slowly chew and savor the flavors. This simple exercise can completely change your eating experience. Practicing mindful eating regularly helps you distinguish between true hunger and emotional eating. Many of us eat for reasons other than hunger, stress, boredom, or habit. By paying attention to your body's signals and your emotional state, you can start to recognize when you're truly hungry versus when you're eating for other reasons. There's some interesting science behind why mindful eating works. When you eat slowly and mindfully, it gives your body time to release hormones that signal fullness. It takes about 20 minutes for your brain to register that you're full. By eating more slowly and paying attention, you're more likely to stop eating when you're satisfied, rather than overly full. Mindful eating also affects hormones like ghrelin and leptin, which regulate hunger and satiety. When you eat quickly or while distracted, these hormone signals can get disrupted, leading to overeating. Mindful eating helps keep these hormones in balance, making it easier to eat just the right amount. The combination of the 5-second rule and mindful eating is powerful, but there's one more crucial step to make these changes stick long term. It involves something you might not expect, and it's the key to transforming your eating habits for good. Now that we've explored the power of the 5-second rule and mindful eating, let's talk about the final piece of the puzzle, your environment. It turns out that our surroundings play a huge role in our eating habits, often without us even realizing it. This concept is called choice architecture, and it's all about how the way choices are presented to us affects our decisions. When it comes to food, our environment is constantly influencing what, when, and how much we eat. The good news is, we can use this knowledge to our advantage. By making a few simple changes to our surroundings, we can set ourselves up for success without relying on willpower alone. Let's start with your kitchen. Take a look at your counter. What do you see? If there's a fruit bowl, great. If there's a cookie jar, well, that might be working against you. Research shows that we're more likely to eat what's visible and easily accessible. So, try this. Put healthier options at eye level in your fridge and pantry, and tuck away less healthy choices. Next, think about your plate size. It might sound trivial, but studies have shown that using smaller plates can lead to eating less without feeling deprived. Our brains are easily fooled by visual cues, and a full smaller plate feels just as satisfying as a larger one. Now let's talk about portion sizes. Instead of relying on your eyes to judge how much to eat, try using measuring cups or a food scale for a week. You might be surprised at what an actual serving looks like. This isn't about restriction, it's about awareness. Here's where it gets really interesting. These environmental changes work synergistically with the 5-second rule and mindful eating we discussed earlier. When you pause before eating, you're more likely to notice your surroundings. And when your environment supports healthier choices, that pause becomes even more powerful. Let's look at some simple swaps that can make a big difference. Instead of keeping snacks in large bags, portion them out into small containers. This natural stopping point can prevent mindless overeating. Replace the TV dinner tray with a dedicated eating space, even if it's just a corner of your kitchen table. This physical change can signal to your brain that it's time to eat mindfully. At work, consider keeping a reusable water bottle on your desk. Often, we mistake thirst for hunger. By staying hydrated, you might find yourself reaching for snacks less often. And if you have an office candy dish, try replacing it with a bowl of nuts or fresh fruit. The beauty of these environmental hacks is that they don't require major lifestyle overhauls. You're not changing what you eat, just how you interact with your food environment. This makes these changes sustainable long term. Remember, the goal isn't perfection. It's about creating an environment that makes it easier to make choices aligned with your health goals. Over time, these small changes can lead to significant improvements in your eating habits. All right, let's put all the pieces together and create an action plan that you can start implementing right away. We've covered 3 powerful strategies: the 5-second rule, mindful eating, and environmental hacking. Each of these techniques is simple on its own, but when combined, they create a synergistic effect that can dramatically reduce overeating. Now here's a clear, actionable plan for the next week. Day 1 to 2. Focus on implementing the 5-second rule. Every time you're about to eat, pause for 5 seconds. Take a deep breath and ask yourself if you're truly hungry. This simple act can help break the automatic habit of reaching for food. Day 3 to 4. Introduce mindful eating. Choose one meal each day to eat without distractions. Put away your phone, turn off the TV, and really focus on your food. Notice the colors, smells, textures, and flavors. Eat slowly and savor each bite. Day 5 to 7. Start making small changes to your environment. Move healthier foods to eye level in your fridge and pantry. Use smaller plates for your meals. Keep a water bottle within reach throughout the day. Now you might be thinking, this sounds great, but what about when I'm stressed or tired? That's a valid concern. Stress and fatigue are common triggers for overeating. When you're feeling overwhelmed, try taking a few deep breaths before reaching for food. This can activate your parasympathetic nervous system, helping you feel calmer and more in control. Another challenge you might face is social situations. When you're out with friends or at a party, it can be hard to stick to new habits. In these cases, try combining the techniques. Use the 5-second rule before filling your plate, then eat mindfully, savoring each bite and engaging in conversation between mouthfuls. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's about progress. You don't need to implement all these changes at once. Start with just one small change and build from there. Maybe you begin with the 5-second rule for the first week. Once that feels comfortable, add in some mindful eating. Gradually make changes to your environment over time. As you start implementing these strategies, you might notice some surprising benefits beyond just controlled eating. Many people report feeling more energetic throughout the day. You might find that you're sleeping better at night. Some even notice improvements in their mood and overall stress levels. One of the most powerful benefits is the sense of control you'll likely develop. Overeating often leaves us feeling powerless, but as you start using these techniques, you'll realize that you have more control over your eating habits than you thought. This sense of empowerment can boost your confidence and motivation.